Hi guys, and welcome to this Model Engineers Workshop. Today in the workshop, let's get started on the pistons and the piston rods. Come on. Hi guys, I'm the chef. Today we're going to make a start on what you could consider to be the beating heart of the locomotive, the pistons themselves, the pistons and the piston rods, bits that go back and forward in the cylinders and actually start to create from linear motion to rotary motion. So I've got the bits on the bench. Come on, I'll talk you through it. Righto guys, here we go. So we got a chunk of cast iron here. This is the second one. The first one's already across the room in the lathe. As you can see, this is about 48 by 50 roughly. It's not exactly square, but I've already marked the center as close as it needs to be at the moment. And we're going to turn these down very roughly to be the actual piston blanks. So these we're going to get down to the largest circle we can. We're then going to drill through and we're going to ream all the way through 8 millimeters. We're then going to put a big counterbore on that. So a 20 millimeter hole by 8 deep. That's so that we can get a spanner or a socket or whatever to actually hold this onto the piston rod, which is these two bits. So we're going to be cutting these two down to the right size, which is about 130. Consult the drawings. Total length of 138 mil. They get threaded M8 at both ends, one end with a shoulder and a plain piece so that it will tighten up into the piston blank itself. So of course we're going to make these first and ream so that when we do the blank part for the M8 thread, so thread, blank part, that blank part is the most important part of the whole thing. It has to be a good fit in the piston blank itself. The other end gets threaded M8 for a ferrule distance because that then screws into the crosshead, which is at the other end of the rod that I'm pointing these rods here. And that will of course then rest on the slide bar, which comes onto that bolt over there. So you can see it rests on that flat there that we've already created on the rear cylinder covers. So order operations, one already in the lathe. Knock all the corners off. Bit of a long job, but never mind. So we're going to turn the square stock into round stock, put a hole in the middle all the way through, ream, counterbore that, and then part that off slightly over length so that we can then mount that in the lathe and actually square it off nice and neat and tidy. Then we're going to make the two rods. We're then going to put the piston on the right end that it needs to go on, and we're then going to finish turn each piston to suit its cylinder. They're very close, but they are slightly different. I think the right hand one is about 0.1, maybe 0.15 of a millimeter larger. So we need to get them handed. So one left hand, one right hand. The piston rods themselves will be identical. And then of course, when we get to actually mounting this onto the rods, we then start working from a collet in the lathe and we get the piston down to size, the right thickness of course. And then we have to put in 2 grooves, 3.2 millimeters wide for piston rings, which I'm going to be making. Right, so over to the lathe we go, and I will pick you up and catch you up when I get there. Right, see you in a bit, guys. Righto, guys, so here we are over at the lathe. As you can see, got the block in the forge jaw, not holding on by too much because I need most of this. This distance, I think I need about 20 odd of this, and I've got 26, 27, and I need like 22 out of that. So as you can imagine, square block, interrupted cut, just going to start taking off the corners very lightly, very gently. So we're going to be getting the lathe going, find the corners, start touching off, and then just go down till we're just clear of the jaws. All right, guys. I'll do the first couple of cuts. You get the drift. You've seen me do this before, but let's do it anyway. Here goes. Let's touch off. That'll do us. Light cuts and lots of them. Right, let's take a look at that. I reckon I'm only cutting on one corner at the moment. That one there. Yeah, just one corner. All right, guys, you get the drift. I'll get this down to the largest possible circle we can. Should be about 47, 46 millimeter diameter. We need let's just under 45. So there's plenty to go at on this. All right, guys, I'll see you in a bit. Righto, guys, here we are, back again. As you can see, we've moved on. Got this to be the biggest circle I can. It's still big enough so it doesn't fit in the bore yet. It will do eventually, of course, when we machine it down. Right, drilled and reamed the hole through. That was dull and boring, so I didn't bother filming that. And right, as you can see, little boring bar. We're going to go in to a depth of just shy of 8 mil, and we're going to come out. Keep doing that until such time as we hit. Just got to set the dials, guys. I'd almost forgotten that. There we go. That's better. Until we get to 20 mil. I'm just looking for me. Very near. Where are they? Oh, here we are. Other side of the workshop. The gremlins are with us again. And then we'll just go back to the middle and take one cleaning cut across the bottom. Okay, just so that we end up with a nice clean bottom for a washer to sit on. Right, so I think we're all set. Just readjust the speed on the lathe. I did have to turn it down for the reaming operation, of course. Right, so let's be having a look. So we're going to go in. Start with about there, I think. Right, one clear. Make sure everything's free, of course. Nothing's banging. Nope. Right, here goes. Let's get this done. Just need a bit more of a cut. There we go. Just so long as this goes in. Oh, man, we are. Oh, no, there we go. Right, perfect, right. So, let's just, sorry for the hands, guys. Let's just bring this back to the center and we can put on the last cut and then we'll go. So we're going to go a little bit of a cut going in and then we're going to come out back to the same number and then we're going to slowly come out and get a nice finish on the inside of this counterbore. Right, this looks about right. Here goes. Oop. we go. That should, he says with a smile, that should be very nice. And indeed it is. Right, okay. I'll set up for the next operation, which is going to be parting this off. And I'll bring you back when I'm set up. All right, guys. See you in a bit. Righto, guys. So here we go. Parting tool piece. The drill's here just to act as a catcher. We need 18 thick. So the tool itself is 2.5. So that gives us 20.5. I've gone to 21 and a little bit. So there's a little bit of cleaning up to do on the back. And everything's rotating free, of course. I'm going to do this on the power feed. And keep a little chip brush at hand. So, yep, let's get this one done as well. Get this parted off and then I can get the second one done. Here goes. Here we go. And bingo. Right. There we go. Let's just have that out of there. All right, guys. So there we go. Number one. You can see where I touched off with the parting tool. That's no great problem. Nice clean back, nice and smooth. That's nice and warm. Looked cool in the workshop this morning. All right. I'll just finish parting that little bit off. And I'll reset. We need the 3-jaw now. So I'll replace the 4-jaw with the 3-jaw and I'll bring you back. See you in a bit, guys. Righto, guys. So reset the lathe now. After getting the second one done, so 3-jaw. This has been set up on parallels. Counterbores in the back, of course. Going to bring this down to 18mm. This is just measured at 18.9, so you can imagine that this is now that way around. This one, of course, feels a little thicker. So this one is 19.15. Yep, so pretty close. And we've just got to get them both down to 18. So just going to touch off. There we go. Set the dial so we know where we're at. Wind clear. Make sure everything's free. We've changed the chuck, so that's all nice and tight. Don't need to worry about any kind of soft packings. This is not a finished surface yet. So this is clamped in fairly tight. So let's just get this 0.9mm off here. Here goes. That's 0.8. Let's just do a quick remeasure just to make sure what we actually got to take off. Should be 0.1, which I'm going to, of course, do under the power feed so we get a nice surface finish. Takes it a little while, but doesn't matter. 18 points. That's 18.05. Yep, right, so let's just put on a little bit like that. I'll take off some dust. Hang on. Let's go point. Yep, that will. 2.5 divisions on there. Right. Wind this in. As I say, nice and slow and steady on the power feed, and that gets this one to 18 mil. All right, here goes. Yep, just literally knocking off a bit of dust. There we go, guys. That's a lovely finish on that. Like you can almost see, almost got a reflection on there. That's just doubly sure. That didn't measure right, did it? No, it's loose. All right. Yeah, that feels better. And we are 18 on the knocker. There we go. Right, I'll get the second one done and I'll see you over at the bench. All right, guys. See you in a bit. Right, so here we go. 2 piston blanks faced off. Those aren't they pretty? Faced off to 18 mil thick. Perfect, they're done for the moment. Now, 2 rods. This is 10 mil. I need to cut off a couple of lengths so I can turn out 2 bits at 138. So I'm going to hacksaw those off. Hacksaw them. Right, okay. And face them off to length. And then I've got to change the 3-jaw out to the collet chuck. All right, when I get that far, and we've got the collet chuck on the lathe, I'll bring you back. All right, guys, see you in a bit. Righto, guys, here we are. Somehow I've lost the audio to these couple of clips. But anyway, here's the bar in the collet chuck, faced off to 138. And we have to turn down about 20 mil of this down to 8 mil so we can thread it M8. I've already put a little scratch mark on it there, as you can see. And so we've got 2 mil to take off. So a couple of light cuts should see this fairly straightforward. Nothing too serious about that. I'll get this done and I'll bring you back shortly. We'll get the lathe going and here we go. That's 0.4. Just double checking here now, get all that crap off the back. And we'll just make sure that the scratch mark's in the right place, was in the right place. Anyway, let's have a look. Yep, looks like 20 mil to me, so that's good. And yeah, I'll get the thread on this and I'll show you that. Now here we have a photo just to show you that it's a nice looking M8 thread on there. Moving on now, we've got the other end of the piston rod now. This I've just turned down to be a nice sliding fit into the piston itself. There we are. On that goes, nice and steady, nice and solid. But not too tight, of course. So now what's left to do is to put 10 mil of thread on the end of that now, so that we actually clamp the piston between the nut and washer that goes on the thread and the shoulder we've just generated. Righto, guys, I'll bring you back in a tick. Okay, guys, here we go, back at the bench. Yeah, there we go. So 2 embryo pistons. The rods are finished. They're all to size and to thread, of course. You can see the threads there. You can see the nuts on the inside here. Now what we have to do, put this back in the collet chuck, turn this down to fit the left-hand cylinder block, turn this one down to fit the right-hand cylinder block, but of course we've also got to put in the grooves for the 2 piston rings. Each piston gets 2 piston rings. They're 1/8 wide, 1/16 thick, and let's have a quick look at the cylinders here. So we've got to basically come in 3mm, put in an 1/8" slot, and then come from the back 3mm, put in an 1/8" slot. So that's what, 366.2, 12.4. This is 18. So there's a land of about just over 5, just under 6 anyway, in the middle. And right, I'll get set up for that, and I'll see you over there at the lathe. All right, guys, see you in a bit. Right, guys, so here we go, back in the lathe. This is in the collet chuck. Oh, I'll tighten that up a bit more, it's a bit loose. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a very light skim across the, across the surface here, just to, oops, got that going the wrong way. There we go. Just to get it concentric. And then I also have the cylinder block close at hand, the first one. That's better. And we will then just try for fit. Now, of course, we need, according by the drawings, a dimension of somewhere between 44.25 and 44.3. Let's have a look. We are at, on this one, of 44.9. So it's probably there's only about 0.6 to come off. I'm going to try and aim for the high end of that range, so 44.3. But first things first, let's just get touched off, get this concentric, and then we can remeasure. So here goes. That's the touch off. Just put on a very light cut. Make sure we don't run into the collet nut. Right, let's see what that did. Let's have a look. We are concentric. Well, look, things, there's no land on there that hasn't been just refreshed. So let's have a quick look. Try and get it on nice and tight, of course. Okay, so we are now at 44.85. So we didn't take off a great deal. So let's just take a little bit more off and just a couple of cuts, and we'll see how we're going. All right, here goes. Going to keep on sneaking up on this. I will try the cylinder block in a second. See when we get, because I'm pretty sure this is what's something like, the bore is 44.45 or something like that off the top of my head. We are now down to 44.657. Call it 7. Right. Let's do one more cut. Actually, no, I'll tell you what. Let me just try this cylinder block first, just to see how we're doing. She's definitely wanting to go. Yeah, right. So, I'm just going to have another quick look at those drawings. And I see that the bore theoretically should be 44.43 to 44.47, and the piston needs to be 44.25 to 44.3, so there's about 0.15 on the bore, because of course you've got to allow for the piston rings. So let me think, if I take off 0.2 of a mil, we're not quite going yet, so we won't be very far off. Right, let's do this and let's see how we're going. Okay, let's have another, nice finish anyway. Right, let's have another little look at that. .545. Oh, we are so close. Yeah, right. Okay. Trial and error at the moment. Try test fitting it. See how we go. She goes in. We are good. Oh, she goes in. Look at that. Look at that. That's wonderful. Right. I'm just going to literally now. Oops, daisy. Let's have a think. What's going to be the best? I'm just going to take a file. I've got a little burr here and a little burr there, and then I'm going to get some Scotch-Brite onto that. So let's get these filed off again. Where's the lens? There it is. As always, file, handle with a file. Handle with a file. File with a handle. Here we go. Now, hopefully you can see that. That's got a lovely finish on it. Just to confirm that in my mind. Oh, yes. I think we're on a winner there, guys. There is just a little bit of wobble, so probably in that region of 0.15, sorry. Right, now, just put this back up on the bench. Oh, that's it. These cylinder blocks aren't half heavy. Right, I'll take this out, and I'll see you back at the bench in a minute. Hang on, guys. Righto, guys, here we are on the bench. First one, I'll just put it in from the front, so it's in its correct relationship now. And that slides beautifully. Of course, the beauty of being from a collet is I can put it back and it'll still be as concentric as it was. Right. That's lovely. Look at that. Just literally rotates in there. There's nothing. I will maybe give it another polish once I get it. Well, I will give it another polish once we get the grooves for the rings cut anyway. Okay, so I'm going to do this one over here, the right-hand cylinder. That's its piston there. And then I'll work out the bits and pieces for the putting the grooves in, so we can work from the front. I know the drawings are dimensioned from here and from here. Don't get it, never mind. Why not just do dimensions, ding, 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 all the way along. Tell us what the bit in the middle is instead of me having to work it out, but never mind. Right. Oh, this is lovely. It's just like when I put that one in and it went all the way through. That was a moment to remember as well, because everything lined up. Alrighty. So, get this one done, and then I'll get this one back, or that one. I might even leave that in the lathe. And we'll get the grooves put in. Right. I'll see you back at the lathe in a few minutes. Hang on, guys. Here I go. Righto, guys. So this is number 2. This is the right-hand piston. I've got that down to the same fit as the left hand now. Taking the files to the edges so there's no burrs. I've also set the dials so I can just do my 0 there, and if I put it over here, I've got my 0 there as well. Now, we've got to turn 2 grooves. This is 44.45, something like that. Very close. We've got to get the grooves down to a depth of 40.9. So there's about 0.1 of a millimeter clearance underneath the rings when we get them made. Right, so what we're going to do, get the lathe going. Because this is 2.5 mil, we need 3.2. We're going to go in until we just get very close to 40.9. And then we'll just move over a little bit and go back in again, and we'll just literally keep doing that until we hit the right dimension on the bottom and just clean up the bottom of the slot. Then we go along another bit and do a repeat on the second groove. Now I've got my numbers here for the dials, and yeah, let's do this. I mean, a little bit of inaccuracy on where the rings are positioned probably won't matter a hoot. The depth, I think, is more important at this moment in time. So what do I need to go? 2 full turns and 21 divisions. 1, 2, and 21 divisions, which is there. Yep, right. looks about right to me, about 3 mil from the front face for this, where the first groove starts. Right, so yeah, let's do this. 1.7 mil. Yep. So, yep, I'll just be taking my time, and I'll probably stop a few times and check the depth as we go. Okay, here goes. Touch off. Let's make a lot of noise, a little bit of chatter on that, so I'm just going to slow that down. Let's try C3, there we go. That should give us 1.6 off. I'm just going to set the calipers, the verniers, to about 41.1. We need to be at 41.9, and hopefully, yep, they're not dropping in yet. No, they're not. Okay, let's just go another bit. So I've taken off about 1.2. Now, that should get me to about literally 41. I only took 0.2 off. Why not turn that way again? If that's correct, I'm going to do the second cut on this groove. Yeah, 41 on and 41.05. Right. Now, I'm going to move to the second setting, which is a case of taking this along just a few divisions. So moving the tool this way towards the chuck. And we'll go into the same number. Right, yep. That should then, I will just take a cut and then double check to make sure we're cutting the right width groove, of course, which needs to be 3.2 mil. All being well, 3.2 is that. We have a quick look, and yes, indeed we are. We are cutting the right width on this groove. So let's get this to the same depth as the other one. Now we've got a bit of a wider groove, we can get the calipers in properly, hopefully, and get a proper reading. Nice, let's have a look. We're at 41.1. So we need to go another point. Ooh, 1.7, yeah. Now, sorry guys, I wasn't talking there. I hope you saw, but I actually just went into the marker on the division that I thought we need, and I just worked the tool backwards and forwards in the bottom of that just to even everything out. So we need to have 40.9 going by the drawings. So let's have a look, see, and we have, yes indeed we do, we have 40.9. Right, so goodness me, I'm just going to double check my numbers. Yes, that one there. Yeah, right. So now I'm going to go along, cut the second groove. But you've seen me cut one. So I've just spent almost 12 minutes doing this. So I'll bring you back when I get the second groove in. All right, guys. See you in a tick. Righto, guys. There you go. Piston number 2 done. This is the right hand one. Left hand one, of course, over there. And I'm really happy with those. So as you can see, I'll just slot this one in. Find the hole. There it is. From the back. There we go. Nice free movement. That'll get a little bit tighter when we make the piston rings in the next video. Yeah, but there is enough. Slacking those just to give a little bit of clearance, which is all we need. A couple of thousand, 0.003 of an inch. So that's what, about less than 0.1 of a mil. 0.1 being about 3.9 thousandths of an inch. You get the idea now, don't you? My God. 1, 2, 3, 4. Double reciprocate. Yeah, love it. Righto, guys. Give me a second. I'll quickly reset and we'll bring this video to a close. Righto, guys. There we go. Another couple of bits done. Well, 4 bits. 2 piston rods and 2 piston heads, I'll call them. Yeah, really happy with the way they've gone. They've really moved nicely in the cylinders. We're getting really close to finishing these cylinder blocks now, but I've said that a few times now, haven't I? Next one, piston rings. Oh my God. Yeah, never made piston rings, mind you. Having said that, I've never made pistons either. So we'll all learn at the same time, I suppose. All right, guys, so I'll bring this video to a close like I normally do. If you can find it in your heart and your soul, give me a like and a subscribe. If you're a watcher, please think about giving a like at least, because it's the likes that put these videos out in front of other people. The subscribes are for me. That gives me the greatest motivation to get back out here and keep making videos for you guys to look at. All right. Yeah, that's it. Next one, piston rings. Got a bit of research to do. Probably watching a lot of YouTube videos, but I'll get there in the end. For that, I am sure. All right. This is the chef saying, see you later.